You've probably seen some wild stuff in a courtroom drama, maybe a high-stakes murder or a massive corporate scandal. But imagine this, a fully dressed pig standing trial in 16th century France, or a swarm of locusts facing down a serious legal summons. I'm not kidding. Welcome back to Omen Myths, where we dive into the true historical events that sound completely made up. Today, we're looking at the bizarre and very real phenomenon of animal trials, when medieval courts across Europe prosecuted, cross-examined, and even executed animals for crimes against humanity. These are the shocking cases you won't believe actually happened. We have to start with the most famous kind of animal trial, the murder charge. Our star defendant is a pig, and the location is 15th century France. Pigs were by far the most commonly accused animals because they were often left to roam free, which unfortunately led to conflicts with human children. In 1494, in the town of Savigny, a sow was arrested and charged with inflicting fatal wounds on a child. And this wasn't some quick slaughter. This was a full, proper legal procedure. The court appointed the pig a defense attorney, yes, an actual lawyer, and the case proceeded just as it would for a human being. The pig was even kept in a local prison during the trial. The evidence was presented, the verdict was read, and the sow was found guilty. The sentence: execution by hanging. To truly complete the spectacle, the sow was reportedly dressed in human clothes before being put to death in the public square. The court records even detail the cost of the executioner and the rope. It wasn't just about punishment. It was about restoring social order and sending a terrifying message to every other pig in town. Now, let's move from civil court to the ecclesiastical court, the church. When a single animal committed a crime, the state handled it. But what about a crime of nature, like a massive plague? The church handled that with excommunication. In the mid-16th century, the city of Dijon, France, was completely overrun by a massive swarm of eels. Not just a few. Huge numbers, crawling everywhere and causing chaos. The bishop, deciding this was a supernatural punishment, or perhaps a work of the devil, didn't just tell people to eat them. He put them on trial. The eels were formally summoned to court. Of course, they failed to appear, so the court appointed a lawyer to represent them. The defense lawyer argued that since the eels were simply following their natural instincts, they couldn't be held morally responsible. The bishop, however, ultimately issued a religious decree. The eels were excommunicated from the church and banished from the district. The hope was that by banishing them spiritually, the problem would cease physically. The weirdest part of the ecclesiastical trials. Sometimes the animals won. In 1587, residents of St. Julien in France brought a lawsuit against a plague of weevils that were destroying their crops. The people wanted the insects excommunicated, but the court's defense attorney for the weevils was a talented lawyer named Bartholomew Chassigny. Mounted a genius defense. First, he argued that the weevils could unappear in court because the summons was undelivered directly to them. The judge then ordered a second, properly delivered summons when the weevils still didn't appear. Chassigny argued they could untravel safely to the court without risking death from the very people who were suing them. In a bizarre twist, Chassigny won the case by arguing that the town was legally obligated to provide the weevils with a protected parcel of land where they could live without bothering the crops. The logic was absurd, but the legal victory was real. The weevils were given a dedicated field as their new home, and the town was forced to pay the legal costs. It shows just how seriously these courts took the process, no matter how ridiculous the defendant. These trials weren't about common sense. They were about control. In a world ruled by superstition, the law was a tool to fight invisible forces, whether that was the devil or just a simple, hungry pig. By giving a criminal a trial, they affirmed human dominance and the stability of their legal system, no matter how much we laugh at it today. Which of these cases blew your mind the most? Let me know in the comments below. Was it the lawyer for the weevils or the pig wearing a suit? Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more stories from history's most bizarre and unbelievable corners. Thanks for watching Omen Myths. See you in the next one.